Happy Thursday and happy Facebook Live time. So glad to be here with a little bit of a departure from all the craziness out there in the world today. I don't know about all you guys, but well, it feels a little bit like I'm living in the Twilight Zone. I don't know about you guys. Anyway, I'm Melissa Kerman of Melissa's Crafty Treehouse. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and crafter and creator. Been a demonstrator for 17 years, and my anniversary is coming up. You might have seen that in my post. So anyway, here I am. I've got a project for you today. I've got some announcements. Thanks. I see someone's joined. Yay, Pam is here. Hi, Catherine. Good to see you. Well, Kathy, you go by Kathy, right? So glad to see people joining in. So I was just saying, today's kind of a crazy day. It's been a crazy time in the world right now, and I feel like I'm living in the Twilight Zone. It was announced today in my region, just to make things even more crazy, that there is E. coli in the water. So now we're boiling our water in order to bathe and drink and wash and all that. So, oh my gosh, like it wasn't already crazy enough. So anyway, I feel like I'm living in the Twilight Zone. But that said, stamping and crafting has always been my great escape, and so I love that I get to be here and share with you and have a departure and escape from the realities and the challenges of life, because there is always the fun part, and crafting is definitely my favorite of one of the fun things. So again, a couple announcements and then a fun project, and then I'll let you guys have your evening to yourself. So the announcements today. I am celebrating 17 years as Stampin' Up! Demonstrator this Saturday, March 14th, 2 days from now. I wouldn't trade this experience for anything. It's changed my life. I love it. I love the community, all the people that I've met, and of course I love crafting and sharing it. So I'm doing a special offer for my newsletter subscribers for this week. I'm essentially going to starting now, going through next Friday the 20th. Anybody who places an order in my online store at certain levels, you can get up to 2 free embossing folders from me. And there's extra perks if you're a club member, and if you're a brand new purchaser. If you never bought from me before, this is a great time to buy. Not only do you get celebration benefits, but you're going to get extra benefits from me. Now, I announced that in my newsletter yesterday, so if you're a newsletter subscriber, you'll have access to that information. If you're not, you can subscribe, and I will be sure to keep you informed about what's going on, what those specials are. Let's see. So anyway, in addition to the potential to get 2 free embossing folders, I'm also giving double loyalty leaves points. That's my rewards program for customers who purchase through me. And then, as I said, there's an extra gift for first-time purchasers and also for my club members. I love my club members. They have been my mainstay the whole time I've been a demonstrator. So just want to do a quick shout out to them and a special thank you to them. I see people joining. Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Wendy. I might have missed a name in there somewhere. Let's see. Wendy says, you finally caught the live. Yay! Welcome from South Wales, United Kingdom. That's awesome. And good to see you, Kathleen. I'm so glad you're here. And others, I'll comment later and say hello if I missed you. So anyway, I will have some details and links in the description for the Facebook post. After the live, and of course I do upload this video to YouTube, so if you're joining in through YouTube for the replay or on Facebook for the replay, welcome. So glad you're here. Hi, Bonnie. Good to see people joining. Let's see what else. Of course, you guys know celebration is going on right now, so there's celebration perks in addition to the perks I'm offering for my 17-year anniversary, so you can take advantage of those too. There's not much time left because that ends the end of March, so we only got, I don't know, is it 2.5 weeks left, something like that? It's kind of crazy that it's almost over. And okay, so a couple announcements about classes coming up. So I offered the Painted Poppies class in February, and just love the projects that I did for that. Those of you who joined in, thank you. And I had on my schedule a class for Grace's Garden, which I absolutely adore. But there have been some inventory problems on the Stampin' Up! End, things not getting to us from China quickly enough. So I've decided to delay that class until May, so the schedule has changed for that. That's going to be on May 1st. And that is a live class on May 1st, but it's also, you can also buy it as a class to go. So you'll get a lovely, beautiful kit in the mail with a video and a PDF. And I am happy to report that for my next class, which I haven't yet announced, but was in my newsletter yesterday, the Forever Blossoms class is going to be on on April 3rd. So that's going to be the April 3rd class instead of Grace's Garden. And for the Forever Blossoms class, not only are, of course, the projects designed, but I've already taped the video footage and I've started the PDF and editing the photos, so I'm ahead of the game. Yay, I'm so proud of myself. So that class should be really, really fun. And there are sneak peeks on my website. If you go to the Classes and Tutorials tab under Product-Based Classes, you'll see some sneak peeks of the Forever Blossoms class. And soon I'll have sneak peeks of the Grace's Garden class. That's coming in May, of course, so I've got a little bit more time for that. So quick again, Grace's Garden, May 1st, Forever Blossoms class, April 3rd. The RSVP deadlines will be typically 2 weeks ahead of those dates. I think for Forever Blossoms, the deadline is March 22nd. It's a Sunday. I think it's a Sunday, March 22nd, to RSVP for that. All right, what else? Those are the announcements. So I'm going to, without further ado, talk about what we're making today. I've got one project for you. I'm using a sentiment from the Peaceful Moments set. So this is, I'm using products from the Painted Poppies product suite. This is one of the stamp sets from that suite. And this stamp set coordinates with the Poppy Moments dies. And these are really the star of the show for today. I'm using these two foliage dies, which I absolutely adore, and I hope you will too. So these are available as a bundle. And again, I'm using this and then a sentiment from this set. And then I'm going to be using just one of the dies from, this is the Painted Labels die, that coordinates with the Painted Poppies stamp set, all again from the Painted Poppies product suite. Okay, so I'm going to face the camera down and we will get started. All right, so let's see. Has anybody played with those Poppy Moments dies? Just curious if you guys have had some fun with them yet. Again, it's these dies, and we're using a sentiment from this set. And in my little Facebook post reminding you about today, I mentioned that we're going to be doing some sponging and masking. This is actually super simple. Now I'm using some of my art masking tape. This is Eclipse art masking tape. You can use Post-it note paper or even cardstock as well, but I especially love this paper because it comes in a roll. It's tacky on the back side. It's like Post-it note paper, but you can place it flat down on whatever you're working on to mask. So it does a really good job of, of covering your surface and not poking up. Okay, so now this project that we're doing is also a team project. We did it as one of our February team projects. So Pam, I saw you out there. Kathleen, you guys probably already had that kit because I mailed it earlier this week. And in that kit, you would have received a piece of cardstock like this that had die cut out of it, sort of like this. So it had some art masking tape on the front. Oh, I see. You got the dies, but they're on back order. Well, guess what? For your team project, everything's die cut for you. So yay. Okay, so anyway, so you got the art masking tape. I die cut these at the same time so that I would end up with a big mask, and then I would also end up with two little masks. So if you get this kit, you're going to be getting a piece that's like this. You know, it actually has the two different dies. I used the same dies on that one. And you're going to pull that out and then separate the two pieces. One is just a piece of cardstock in the back that's just to be a backing for it. And then you'll just have to separate that ever so carefully. And so you can use it as a mask. And I have one already done, so I'm going to just set that aside for now, but you get the idea. So here are my masks. And I can either use this negative space mask or I can use this one. And you're like, on what? Tell us on what. Okay, here we go. So this is my focal piece. Interesting, right? Ha, maybe not. So what I'm going to do first is I am going to actually use this instead of this, just because this is a little bit more solid. There's pros and cons, right? This one I can play, and maybe I'll do one each way. That's what I'll do. I'll do one each way so you guys can see. So I'm going to just place this down here. And as you can see, I can press it up against the paper and it's flush with the paper. Now this art masking tape is much thinner than the cardstock, so because of that, it makes it, you know, as I said, it's flush with the paper, so it's a little bit easier to work with. Okay, so now I'm using a sponge and my smoky slate ink. This is a monochromatic color scheme that we're doing, all grays and blacks and whites. It's actually very striking and pretty. So I'm going to start by doing a little sponging. Now these are pulling up those little ends there, so I'm going to make sure that I'm sponging so that I'm not pushing them up. I'm pushing in towards the center and just getting a little bit of ink in those openings. Now you see I just got a little edge there. That's not what I wanted. So you want to make sure that you take your sponge, squish it up, and you're not going off the edge of your mask, so you're not getting a straight line in there. We'll probably be able to cover that up. So I'm going to take that off now. And I'm going to do another one off to the right. See, this is what not to do. Straight line, not what you want. Again, we'll cover it up though. Okay, so then we're going to do another one over this side. And it's not it's not an exact thing, right? You could just do it wherever you want. I'm just creating a bit of a fun, interesting background. I'm going to put my finger there on the edge, so it will be in the way of that hard edge, so I don't do that boo-boo again. Now, as you can see, I have to be a little careful about how I pull this up. Alrighty, now I'm going to use my other shapes. So I've now sponged sort of in my negative space, and now I'm going to sponge around my positive space pieces. So I'm going to strategically place that baby at the top, and this one right up here. Tapping them down. And then again, I have to be a little bit careful with how I sponge to make sure I'm not pulling up the mask. You can see how it's flush with the paper. Now, if I were using cardstock, which I actually did the first time, it's just a little bit harder to get into the opening. Because it's thicker. It's thicker than the masking tape, the art masking tape. Now each one of these is going to turn out different if you go ahead and try this. Okay, and we're going to move this around and do another one. You see how it's kind of, what should we say, growing? Let's see, where do I want this one? How about right there? And we'll pull this one off. I find that it's a little bit easier to pull it off the bottom than off the top, just because of the shape of that piece. And then we're going to do this one more time. Now when you do your die cutting of these pieces, especially the little itty bitty one, this shape, yeah, that shape right there, I find when I take it out of the die, I want to make sure to poke it out of the bottom and pull the bottom out first. Just seems to work a little bit better that way, since you have all these little delicate elements in there. It's a very thin stem. So I've pretty much covered up that line. It's not so noticeable. The joy of sponging, right? Okay, let's see how this looks. That's looking pretty cool. What do you guys think? Hi, Debbie. Hi, Tina. Hi, Barbara. Welcome. Just happened to poke my head out looking at the camera, or the phone rather. Okay, so I've got my background. Now, whoops, throwing my ink pads around. I am going to do another step I've got a little bit of ink in here. It's actually a droplet of my Memento ink, Memento black ink. And I'm going to get another piece of paper to cover up my space. Give me 1 second. The next thing I'm doing is potentially a little messy. So I'm going to use my aqua paint, or you could use any paintbrush really. Hi Fran, welcome. Nice to poke my head up and see people arriving. So I've squeezed a little bit of water out of my aqua painter well just to add some water to the black, and then I'm going to test it over here. Move that away, and I'm just going to tap it off. You see I'm getting some little black specks. Sometimes they end up being big. Need a paper towel here. Dab off a little bit. I really want them to be delicate little specks, and this is not a, it's an art, not a science, no doubt. Okay, so we're going to try it right onto my piece. So I'm going to flick my brush against my piece. That's looking pretty fun. One more. For good measure. I think I'm done. I like it. What do you guys think? I like it. I might say so myself. Pretty pretty. Okay, so moving right along. So now I've die cut out this piece. This is, again, from the Painted Labels dies. And I'm going to stamp a sentiment right there in the center. Now, you know, kind of want to do a birthday, but I think that's a little too small. So I'm just going to go with this one. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but we probably all need sympathy cards, so it just works so perfectly for this that I'm just going to do it. Don't really like to think of the sad stuff. But I'm going to use this sentiment with deepest sympathy. And just going to stamp that right on there. Now I use the Memento ink for the speckles, but in general I really prefer the Jet Black StazOn for my black stamping. Now that is the case almost always, except for when I'm using photopolymer stamps, because photopolymer stamps will be stained when you use Jet Black StazOn. But if you're using a red rubber stamp, it's easily cleaned with the StazOn cleaner. So I always prefer StazOn if I am not using photopolymer, because it gives me a darker, richer black, and I just love that. The Memento is sometimes a little, I don't know, wimpy, relatively speaking. But you do need to use the Memento when you use your using blends alcohol markers. So that is one application where you can't switch back and forth. You can't use StazOn with the blends alcohol markers. That is an absolute truth. Okay, I'm missing something. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tie some of my black satin ribbon. Hi, Rhonda. Hi, Amy. Looking up at my phone. I get to see who's arriving, commenting. All right. So I'm just going to tie a knot on the left-hand side of this. Now, the tricky part is, you see how it's kind of bowing up? You know what? I'll do it the easier way. You guys probably do this all the time, right? I'm going to do a faux tie instead of actually trying to tie it around there. It's just a lot easier to get it well positioned and looking nice and snug. So we're going to use glue dots on the left and the right of this. And then just wrap it around the back side. And then, this is the faux part. Just going to tie a little knot here on the left. And it's so much easier, again, to get this nice and tight without having to worry about bowing up that paper. And I can also move the position of my tie left and right if I need to, a little bit more easily. Train my little tails, as I like to do. Yes, the black satin ribbon, I agree, it is gorgeous. It has certain applications, though, I find, because it's kind of on the fat side, it can be a little, like it only works with certain things. And this particular design, I think it works just beautifully. I think you'll agree once I actually finish it. All right, so next, I'm going to put some adhesive on the back side. Get it attached to my card base. Do the finishing touches. Now so far I've only used those die cut shapes for my masking and sponging, but I am going to use some of the actual shapes for the card as well. So stay tuned. It's coming soon. So check that out with the nice black in behind, all that texture and dimension. I just love it. So next up, I have die cut some of my shapes. So one from my basic gray, one from smoky slate, and then one of the big ones, which is somewhere on this table underneath my paper, in the black. So I'm going to strategically place these in a couple of spots in behind my sentiment, which is going to go over here on the right. And I just have to decide where I'm going to put them. Now I played with these a bunch when I was originally putting this together. And this is generally what I liked the most. The black is a little strong in the center and big, but it still works for me. So I think I'm going to get those sitting there right where they need to be. And then just put them down with glue dots to get them into position. Now I may want to put a little bit of liquid glue, multi-purpose liquid glue, on some parts of my leaves. And you just have to use the tiniest little bit, because if you use too much like that, it will ooze out. So I usually just scrape it off if it's too much. And the glue dot stuck to my finger. Lovely. There we go. Just going to stick that where I want it. And then just kind of test this a little bit. See if my position still looks good for everything else. Another glue dot. Now for this middle one, because you've got a lot more surface area to play with, I don't have to mess with the white glue. I can just put glue dots in behind those big leaves. Makes it a lot easier. Again, check my positioning. I like it. And then last but not least, my little smoky slate one. And again, just fussing with a little bit of my white glue. Hold it down a little. Doesn't need very much. Just spread it out. So I don't know if you guys just heard that. My air conditioning just went off. It was 75 degrees here. And my treehouse crafting space is on the 3rd floor of my house. So it's it just gets all hot and steamy up here really quickly because the sun's shining on the roof. And so believe it or not, here it is, March, and I have the air conditioning on. It's almost embarrassing. But I don't like to be hot. And I live in the South, so just saying. Okay, so I got my dimensionals on the back side. I'm just gonna place this down and I am done with this card. So now I will tell you, I have designed another card that's actually one of my free card kit program cards and club card. And incidentally, I do have my club group, my regular paper crafting class tomorrow. And so they're going to be making that. And we are using these wonderful Poppy Moments dies. Is that what they're called? Did I have that right? Poppy Moments. Doing some fun things with using the negative and positive pieces that we've cut out. So I'm super excited about those projects. Those will be shared on my blog eventually, and they were created around when this one was created, just because they're, using a lot of the same materials, and it's also a black and white and gray color scheme. So super fun. I hope you guys like this one, and we'll look forward to seeing that club project coming soon. So I'm going to turn the camera, just say a quick little goodbye, a couple little reminders, and then we will get to be on our way for the evening. I can read some of your comments, which I always love. So I hope you guys will, comment, share projects, buy stuff, take advantage of my 17-year anniversary special offer that I'm doing. It goes again starting today through, it started really last night when I sent my newsletter, through next Friday the 20th of March. And again, when you buy, you get double loyalty points. You get up to 2 free embossing folders depending on the size of your order. If your order is at 150, you also get hostess benefits. If your order is 50 or more, you get celebration benefits. Yay! Free stuff. And there's more new things to get to, so super fun. So there's that. What else? And then, of course, I got my upcoming classes. So that information is on my website for the Forever Blossoms class, so definitely check it out. You can even go in and click link and register for the class. I will send you an email to give you a PayPal invoice for whatever option you've chosen, and that's going to be a really fun class. It's anyway, I just love the projects and excited to share them. So 17 years and still going strong. I thought I'd be bored after 2, and look at me. Can't get enough of it. All right, and I will be back, of course, next Thursday, same time, same channel. That's March 19th with another Facebook Live, another fun project. I think the thing I'm going to do next week is a really fancy little trick on the Big Shot that uses dies and embossing folders, so stay tuned for that. I'm super excited to share that. Very happy festive card. And actually, should I tell you that? No, secret. I'm going to secret. Anyway, thank you for the congratulations and well wishes on my 17 years. I appreciate that very, very much. It's the community that makes it all, the community that's sharing it, and all of you being so appreciative of what I share. And I wouldn't be able to do this if it weren't for all of you out there watching and wanting to see what I create. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So I will see you hopefully next Thursday, or online, or in an email, or by me thanking you for an order. I need to have orders in order to keep my business running, so I have to unabashedly ask for it. So anyway, you guys have a fabulous day. Happy crafting. Have a wonderful weekend. And till next time, I love you. Bye. Stay healthy and safe. Bye.